All right, welcome back to Doc Tensors. You know, sometimes you stumble across a paper and it's like, whoa, this changes things.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting from today's deep dive. We're looking at AI video generation, but not just any video.
Not those, like, 5-second cat clips anymore.
Exactly. We're talking about long-form, consistent video. Imagine entire movies, coherent narratives, all generated by AI.
And the kicker is the consistency, right?
That's where it gets wild.
Yeah.
Because up until now, AI's been great at short bursts, but remembering what it created 5 frames ago.
Forget it.
Exactly. But this paper, Auroboros Diffusion, exploring consistent content generation in tuning-free long video diffusion by Chen et al. It's like, hold on, what if the AI could actually learn from the whole video it's making?
Okay, that's a game changer. That cat wearing sunglasses as a lifeguard, it'll actually stay a lifeguard for the whole video.
Precisely. No more random costume changes, no backgrounds warping, just pure, unadulterated feline lifeguarding action.
Okay, I'm sold. Let's break this down.
All right, so first, why is long video even a problem for AI?
So most AI models, they're trained on these massive data sets of short clips, right? Your TikToks, Reels, all that.
Makes sense.
But generating a long video, it needs a different kind of understanding. Think like writing a haiku versus a whole novel.
Yeah, you can't just stitch a bunch of haikus together and call it War and Peace.
Right. It needs that overarching narrative, character development, all that. And traditional AI, they've struggled with that.
Amazing short bursts.
Yeah.
Keeping things consistent over time. Not so much.
Right.
So how do researchers even approach this? I mean, what's in the AI toolkit for long videos?
Well, 2 main strategies. One's fine-tuning existing models on, like, tons more data, specifically long videos.
So force feed them even more info?
Basically, it's called tuning-based, but it's super computationally expensive, like supercomputer levels of expensive.
Yeah, that's not going to fit in my home office anytime soon.
Right. So the alternative is tuning-free methods. More efficient, uses pre-trained models without all the extra computing power.
That's where Auroboros Diffusion fits in.
Bingo. Exciting because it could mean this tech becomes accessible to, like, way more creators.
That's huge. But how do you even get a long video from an AI that's learned from mostly short stuff? Isn't that like asking a sprinter to run a marathon?
Kind of. And one method that's been gaining traction is FIFO diffusion. Stands for first in, first out diffusion.
Catchy.
Right. Picture it like a queue. Yeah, like at a theme park. Each frame of the video starts blurry, distorted, like a mess of pixels waiting to be cleaned up.
Like one of those blurry photos you try to fix with a filter, but for a whole video.
Exactly. AI's job is to denoise them one by one. Frame at the front gets cleaned up, decued like it's hopped on the ride.
Okay.
And then a fresh, noisy frame joins the back of the line, in-queued, and the process repeats.
Constant flow of frames getting sharper added to the video. Sounds pretty efficient.
It is. And since you're only working on one frame at a time, theoretically, you could make videos of any length.
But there's got to be a downside, right? AI rarely gives you a free lunch.
You know it. FIFO diffusion, it can be a bit forgetful. Once a frame's dequeued, out of sight, out of mind for the AI.
Oh no, AI amnesia.
Kinda. Leads to inconsistencies. Character's outfit changes suddenly, background goes haywire.
So like AI has a short-term memory problem when it comes to video.
You got it. Plus, those new noisy frames joining the queue, they don't always match the partially cleaned up ones.
Uh-oh.
Visual chaos. Flickering, jumpy transitions, especially between scenes, like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces don't quite fit.
A very messy puzzle.
Right. So that's where Auroboros Diffusion swoops in, all about long videos, yes, but also consistent, captivating ones.
Okay, now we're talking. But how does it actually solve those problems? What's the secret sauce?
Remember the AI amnesia? Auroboros Diffusion tackles that head on.
Finally, therapy for the AI.
Right. It uses info from the whole video, past and present, to guide the process, creates a continuous learning loop.
So it's finally thinking about the whole story, not just individual scenes.
Exactly. 3 key innovations make this happen. First, coherent tail latent sampling. All about smoother transitions between frames.
So instead of just dumping a random noisy frame onto the queue,
It gets strategic.
ooh, I like it.
It borrows the layout or structure from the second to last frame. So even when noisy, that new frame has a blueprint.
Like giving the AI a rough sketch before it starts painting the masterpiece.
Yep. And that leads us to the second innovation, subject-aware cross-frame attention, or SAS-CFA. This is all about keeping the main character, the object, consistent.
Hold on. wouldn't using the second-to-last frame for sampling create its own consistency problems? Like, if something drastically changes in that frame, wouldn't the new frame just inherit those problems?
That's a great point, but we're talking about like subtle structural similarities, not a direct copy-paste. The new frame still goes through denoising, but it starts from a better place for smoother transitions.
So it's not an identical twin, more like inheriting good bone structure, but styling your hair differently. Gotcha. So where does CFA fit in?
Think of it like face recognition for videos.
Okay, that's cool.
Uses masks like digital spotlights to focus on the subject in each frame. Compares them, makes sure they look the same over time, no more accidental wardrobe changes.
No more AI bloopers? I love it.
Right. And then the third innovation, this is where it gets really wild, self-recurrent guidance, like giving the AI a memory bank of what the subject should look like based on those early clear frames.
So even as things get longer, potentially weirder, the AI has got this reminder of what it's supposed to be creating. Like a director whispering, remember the cat needs sunglasses.
Exactly. This guidance is key, especially for later frames where things get noisier. The AI might start to lose track. Keeps the whole video from like derailing.
All right, I'm sold on the concept. But how does it perform in practice? Does it live up to the hype?
They tested it on a benchmark called VBench, specifically for long video generation.
Yeah.
2 main scenarios, single scene and multi-scene.
Single scene, like one continuous shot, multi-scene more like a movie, different locations.
Auroboros Diffusion outperformed other models in both, especially in subject consistency, background consistency, motion smoothness, and reducing that annoying flickering.
So the videos actually look good. No more characters teleporting or backgrounds doing the wave.
They look great. They even gave some fun examples in the paper. Single scene, a cat wearing sunglasses as a lifeguard at a pool.
Wait, they made an AI cat lifeguard. That's adorable. How detailed does it get? Does the cat, like, blow a whistle, rescue a drowning rubber ducky?
Okay, maybe not that detailed yet, but it keeps its lifeguard look, the pool stays consistent, it's impressive.
Okay, I want to see this video. And what about multi-scene? What do they do there?
They got even more ambitious. An astronaut riding different things in space. First a horse, then a dragon, then a motorcycle.
Whoa, an astronaut, a dragon, and a motorcycle in space. That's like peak sci-fi. So the AI is keeping the astronaut consistent AD transitioning between these crazy scenes.
Nailed it. Smooth transitions, the astronaut looks the same, backgrounds change seamlessly. It shows how Auroboros Diffusion handles complex multi-scene narratives.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We're talking about AI potentially creating entire movies from a text prompt. But let's bring it back down to earth for a sec. Why should our listeners care? How could this tech impact their lives?
Great question. It really depends on your interests, right? If you're prepping a big presentation, imagine using this to create like super high quality training videos, marketing stuff, perfect visuals.
Marketing teams are drooling right now. What about education? Could this make learning more engaging?
Absolutely. Think about those educational videos, sometimes a bit dry. But what if they had smooth, engaging visuals, perfectly matched to the narration? Learning becomes way more intuitive, fun.
Like having a personal animator for every topic.
Right. And then, of course, there's the creative potential. Anyone can generate a whole movie based on their ideas, democratizing filmmaking. It's super exciting. Who knows, maybe one day we'll see that cat lifeguard movie on the big screen.
I'd watch it. Okay, this paper is definitely a must-read. But before we wrap up this segment, time to venture into novel notions territory. You ready to push these ideas even further?
Let's do it. Where are we going?
So, Auroboros Diffusion, it's all about consistency in videos. But what if we took that consistency and applied it to, like, real life?
Whoa. Okay, going big picture here.
Think about it. We're bombarded with choices constantly. What to eat, where, career paths.
Too many choices. It's overwhelming.
Right. What if we had an AI trained with something like Auroboros Diffusion to help us make more consistent choices, aligned with our values, goals, our sense of self?
Like a personal AI life coach.
Exactly. It analyzes our past decisions, finds patterns, then suggests things that promote consistency. Less of those "what was I thinking" moments.
That's interesting. Could be super helpful for people who struggle with decisions, feel lost.
I know I could use a little AI guidance sometimes. But of course, challenges abound. Are we comfortable with AI influencing our choices, even with our consent?
That's a big one.
Where's the line between helpful guidance and, like, AI overreach?
Definitely something to ponder. And it makes you wonder, is perfect consistency even what we want in life? Don't we grow, evolve through those inconsistent moments?
Absolutely. I think that's the key takeaway. Auroboros Diffusion, brilliant for consistency in the digital world. But for our lives, maybe a little inconsistency is what makes us human.
Love that. AI can be powerful, but it's up to us how we use it.
Couldn't agree more. All right, that's it for part 1 of our deep dive into Auroboros diffusion. Join us next time as we take a closer look at the history behind this groundbreaking technology, uncovering the key developments that led to this moment. And be sure to check out the full paper, link in the show notes. See you then.
All right, so we've seen what Auroboros diffusion can do, but how did we even get here? Every invention has a backstory, right? What led up to this thing?
Time for a little AI history lesson. I love tracing the evolution of these ideas. So where does the Auroboros diffusion story begin?
Well, it all goes back to the rise of diffusion models themselves, relatively new in the AI world, especially for making images and videos.
Yeah, they've been getting a lot of buzz lately.
They have, but the core concept is surprisingly straightforward.
Okay, remind me. Diffusion models, they're all about denoising, right? But the specifics are kind of hazy for me.
Sure, so imagine you've got a crystal clear picture. Now picture adding noise to it. Slowly, gradually, until it's just this blurry mess. Totally unrecognizable.
We're corrupting a perfectly good image for science.
Exactly. That's the forward process. But here's the cool part. Diffusion models learn to reverse that.
Oh,
They take that noisy mess and gradually, step by step, denoise it until they recreate the original image.
So like taking a shattered vase and painstakingly putting it back together, tiny piece by tiny piece.
Perfect analogy. And the amazing thing is, once a diffusion model learns this, it can generate completely new images from pure noise. It's like imagining a vase it's never seen before and then sculpting it from clay.
Wow, that is wild. But how did we go from denoising images to generating entire videos? Was it just like apply the same logic to moving pictures?
That was the first thought, yeah. Researchers figured, hey, let's treat each frame of a video as a separate image and denoise them all at the same time. It worked okay for short clips.
But I bet it didn't scale well to those epic Lord of the Rings length movies we all dream of.
You got it. That parallel approach just couldn't handle the complexities of long videos, that need for consistency, the smooth transitions between scenes, the whole narrative flow. It all got lost.
Right, it was basically a bunch of beautiful but totally disconnected clips, not a coherent story. So is that when FIFO diffusion entered the scene?
Yeah.
That Q idea that allows for frame-by-frame generation?
You know it. FIFO diffusion was a huge leap because it made longer videos possible while still using those pre-trained diffusion models. But like we talked about earlier, it had some serious limitations, especially with keeping things consistent over time.
Right, that AI amnesia. So was Auroboros diffusion the first try at fixing this? Were there other approaches to long video generation that tried to crack this problem?
Good question. Auroboros is definitely innovative, but it wasn't the first to try. Some researchers tried an autoregressive method. The AI uses the frames it's already made to predict the next one.
Kind of like writing a story sentence by sentence, each one building on the last.
Exactly. But these models were really demanding computationally and prone to errors. Imagine a typo in the first sentence leading to a totally nonsensical story by the end.
Yeah, not great. And what about those sliding window techniques I've heard about? Were those ever a contender?
Oh yeah, the sliding window. Those were clever. They tried to improve consistency by denoising several frames at once in this little window that moved along the video timeline. Good for short-term coherence, but they still struggled to maintain consistency over longer periods.
So it's like trying to read a novel a few paragraphs at a time. You might understand each paragraph, but you miss the overarching story and character development.
Exactly. And that's where Auroboros diffusion shines. It combines the best of both worlds, keeps the efficiency of FIFO diffusion with its frame-by-frame generation, but it also adds in info from the whole video with those cool techniques we talked about. Coherent tail, latent sampling, subject-aware cross-frame attention, and self-recurrent guidance.
It's like the AI finally read the whole novel before trying to write the sequel.
I love that analogy. And the results are clear. Longer videos, better consistency, stronger storytelling, and overall, a much more engaging experience for the viewer.
It shows that AI progress often comes from striking the right balance, right? It's not always about more data or computing power. Sometimes it's about designing smarter algorithms that work smarter, not harder.
Totally agree. And sometimes it's about finding inspiration in unexpected places. Who knew a snake eating its own tail could lead to better AI videos?
Auroboros, an AI muse. Speaking of creativity, should we revisit those novel notions we were playing around with earlier? We were talking about AI helping us live more consistent lives.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Imagine an AI assistant that helps you make decisions that actually align with your long-term goals and values.
Like having a personal AI life coach, constantly whispering in your ear, remember you're trying to eat healthy. Don't forget to call your mom.
It could be huge for self-improvement. But of course, some ethical questions pop up. How much control are we okay giving an AI over our lives? Where's the line between helpful and overbearing?
Right, those are important. But what if we shift focus a bit? Instead of individuals, what if we use this consistency idea for, like, society as a whole?
Ooh, okay. You're thinking big now. Go on.
What if we had AI trained with Ouroboros-like principles to help create more consistent and fair social systems?
Mm-hmm.
Systems less prone to bias, discrimination, systemic errors, all that.
That's a bold idea, like using AI to analyze huge amounts of data about social structures, find patterns of inequality, and suggest ways to make things fairer.
Exactly. AI could design more equitable algorithms for healthcare, education, even criminal justice. Algorithms that understand historical biases and try to correct them, leading to fairer outcomes for everybody.
It's a powerful vision, but we need to be super careful about the data we use to train these systems. Constant monitoring for bias would be key.
Transparency and accountability would be crucial. But I think it's worth exploring. If AI can make our social systems fairer and more consistent, the benefits could be huge.
It's a conversation we're just starting to have, but a crucial one. Who knows, maybe this will be the turning point. AI not just for better videos, but for a better world.
That's a powerful thought. And it shows how these advancements in AI, even if they seem niche at first, can ripple out and impact everything. Welcome back to Talk Tensors. We've covered a lot of ground with Ouroboros Diffusion, haven't we? From how it solves those consistency problems to imagining how its ideas could change everything. Decisions, social systems, you name it.
It's been quite the deep dive. Really shows how fast AI is moving. Stuff that seemed like pure sci-fi a while ago is now knocking on our door.
It makes you wonder, what's next for AI-generated video? What happens after Ouroboros?
Big question. But I think Auroboros gives us some clues. Imagine anyone can make awesome, visually stunning videos just from, a text prompt.
I guess everyone gets their own Hollywood studio. Educational videos that are as good as any documentary, marketing that just grabs you.
Right. And it's not just about being easy, it's about the quality AI brings.
Yeah.
Imagine training videos that are super clear, presentations that just flow perfectly, even virtual worlds that feel real.
It's raising the bar for any kind of visual storytelling. No more settling for bad graphics or jumpy cuts. AI can make things that are both informative and engaging,
And as it gets even better, who knows what we'll see? Interactive stories where the viewer decides what happens, educational content that changes for each person.
Or AI art that blows our minds, stuff humans couldn't even imagine. We're on the edge of something big here. The lines are blurring between what humans and machines can create. That's got to raise some questions, right?
Absolutely. As AI gets more sophisticated, we gotta think critically about its role. How do we use it ethically? How do we avoid bias? And how do we make sure human creativity still matters in a world where AI is doing so much?
Big, big questions. No easy answers there. But I keep coming back to the idea of collaboration. AI is a powerful tool, right? But it's not replacing human creativity and thinking. It's about finding that balance. AI helps us, makes us better, not replaces us.
Totally. We embrace the potential, but we don't lose sight of our human values.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Ouroboros Diffusion, one last thought. This paper is just one moment in the story of AI video generation. This field is moving so fast, who knows what's just around the corner.
Exactly. Stay curious, keep exploring, keep asking those questions. Maybe you'll be the one to discover the next big thing in AI.
And when you do, come share it with us on Talk Tensors. We'll be here, ready to break it all down and explore those exciting possibilities. Thanks for joining us, everyone.